Shalom. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to New Wine Congregation of Israel. Today is going to be a quick video through the Spirit, most high willing. We're just going to dive into the topic of how to deal with lust. All right, how to battle and fight against lust. Like I said, I'm going to do my best on this channel to show you all, and show myself at the same time how to fight against sin, how to get that much closer to perfection. All right, so let's open up the Bible. Let me share my screen. All praises and all esteem to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. All right, so let's go in the Bible. All right, let's start with the book of Galatians. All right, how to battle against lust. Like I said, I don't think this is going to be a long video. Just going to try to go through the scriptures real quick, give you something to chew on, give you some food for your spirit to keep you strengthened and uplifted, keep you strong and keep you away from sin. All right. Galatians chapter 5 and verse 16. It says, "This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." All right. That's not saying you might not fulfill the lust of the flesh. It said, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. All right. So what is the spirit? That's what you gotta, the next question should be, what is the spirit? Real quick, we're gonna come back here. Well, how do you walk in the spirit? What is the spirit? Let's go to the book of John, chapter 6 and verse 63. All right. It says, it is the spirit that quickeneth, meaning the spirit makes you alive, right? The flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. All right. So the words are the words in this Bible. All right. The words that Yahweh Shah spoke were the words that are in this Bible. All right. The doctrine of the Most High God, which is the law, statutes, and commandments. All right. It says they are spirit and they are life, meaning they will make you come to life. All right. So let's go back because we know what the spirit is now. It makes a lot more sense. Let's go back to Galatians 5 and 16. So he says, "This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." All right. So if you stay in this Bible as much as possible, it's gonna make it that much harder for you to sin. All right. Verse 17, it says, "For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary one to the other." That's the fight, the battle that's going on inside of each and every one of us at every second of every day. Your flesh is fighting against your spirit. All right. So you either feeding your spirit or you're feeding your flesh, one or the other. Is no gray area in there. All right. So you want to do things that's going to help build up your spirit, which is reading your Bible. All right. Watching classes like these, most high willing. All right. Or whoever you subscribe to learn from. As long as they're coming out of the Bible, that's going to help you to build up your spirit. All right. You want to meditate on the scriptures. Let's get that real quick. Let's go to Joshua. All right. He said, the flesh and the spirit are contrary to one another. All right. The book of Joshua, chapter 1 and verse 8. It says, "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate." All right. Thou shalt meditate therein day and night. All right. So I know for me, when I first read this, when I was first coming into the truth, that translated to me is that I had to be reading the Bible day and night. Well, that's not really practical unless you have a certain type of lifestyle. But to meditate means just what it says. You should be thinking about the scriptures at all times, even if you don't have your Bible in front of you. You start your day off reading the Bible, reading the scriptures. Lust can be anything. Don't always have to be sex. Most of the time it is, though, sexual sins that get brothers and sisters tripped up in the truth, that make them fall out of the truth. All right. So meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Meaning you'll be prosperous in serving the Most High. All right. And you're going to have good success when it comes to not sinning and battling against lust. All right. So let's go back to Galatians. It says, verse 17, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit. Your flesh is against the spirit. Your spirit tell you, I need to keep the commandments. I can't sleep with just anybody. Your flesh say, man, she look good in them jeans. All right. Or that brother got buff, or whatever the case, whatever it is your vice is, you know. It says, and the spirit against the flesh. All right. And these are contrary one to the other, so that you cannot do the thing that you would. So this is why, if you've been battling against lust and you've been losing that fight, this is why. All right. It says, but verse 18, but if you be led of the spirit, you are not under the law, meaning you are not under the law to the point where you're going to be put to death. All right. Because the wages of sin is death. Understand that, brothers and sisters. All right. Let's keep going. Talk about how to battle against lust. All right. 2 Corinthians. Matter of fact, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10. All right. And verse 13. It says, there have no temptation taking you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able. So there's nothing that you know, sometimes you can have a tendency to say, oh, woe is me. You know, why me? I'm the only one dealing with this. Well, that's not true. The Bible says there's no temptation that is taking you, but which is common to man. Right? Even back in biblical times, you might say, well, women didn't dress modestly the way they do now, but they did though. You know, it just the fashion might have not been the same, but they had to battle against lust the same way that we battle against it today. There's no temptation taking you, but such as common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able. Right? Because temptation develops your patience. All right. Temptation develops your patience, and it helps develop your faith. And it's actually you going through the fire to turn you into that goal that the Most High wants us all to be. All right. It says, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape. All right. Sometimes you just got to get out of there. All right. It might be on your job. You might get a new job if it's too unbearable. All right. It might be at your school. You might do something different with that. It's always a way out. It says that you may be able to bear it. All right. So let's keep going. Dealing with lust. Now let's go to 2 Corinthians. How to battle against lust, man, because that's something that everybody deals with. Nobody, if you hear brother or sister say, well, I don't deal with lust, they're not telling you the truth. Everybody battles and deals with lust to some degree. Like I say, lust doesn't always have to be a sexual thing, but most of the time it is. All right. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14. It says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. So you don't want to be in companionship, relationship, or around people if it's not absolutely necessary, that don't believe the law, that they have to keep the laws of the Most High, because they're going to feed your lust. They're going to feed into your flesh. All right. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? All right. It says, and what concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? An infidel is somebody that don't believe in the scripture. So if you believe in the scriptures and you trying to keep the commandments, you don't need to, and you're battling against lust, you don't need to hang with your cousin that want to look at women with no clothes on Facebook all day. Or if y'all go somewhere, all he do is he holler at every girl he see. Or if your sister, she promiscuous, you know, but y'all sisters, and all she want to do is when she go out, stare at men. But you trying to keep the commandments. You got a dress and a head wrap on, and she got on booty shorts. That don't go together. All right. It says, verse 16, and what agreement have the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. We got to keep that in mind. We are the temple, so we can't just put anything in our temple. We can't let our temple be around just anything. It says, as God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them. He dwells in us when we read his Bible. All right, because that's the spirit of the Most High on those scriptures. All right, in those laws, statutes, and commandments. That's how he dwells in us, and walk in them. And I will be their God, and they shall be my people. All right, so you don't want to be around people that you don't have to be around if they don't want to keep the commandments. All right, so that's one way to battle. Let's go from there. Let's go to Ephesians. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 11. All right, it says, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness. All right, have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. So if you have to be around people that are unbelievers who do things that feed into your lust, you should be reproving them, not not encouraging it. All right, you should be that light. All right, because you're either going to influence them or they're going to influence you, one way or the other. All right, no two ways about it. All right, so let's keep going. Let's go to Romans now. So watch who you hanging around. That's important. Also, watch what you listening to, what you allowing to come into your spirit, what you watching. Salaki. Romans 7 and 7. All right, it says, what shall we say then? Is the law sin? God forbid, right? It's not a sin for you to keep the commandments. Nay, he says, I had not known sin, but by the law. So the law does just that. It reveals what sin is to us. Remember, 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4, sin is the transgression of the law, the going against the commandments of God. All right, it says, Paul says, I had not known sin, but by the law, for I had not known lust. All right, so Paul dealt with lust. All right, mighty Paul. He said, for I had not known lust, except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. So when you lusted for something, you're actually coveting that thing because it doesn't belong to you. It's not yours. All right, whether it's a woman, a man, some money, a house, a car, whatever it is that you food, whatever it is that you lusted for, that's actually covetousness. All right, let's keep going from there. So sin, the law reveals what sins we're actually in. So it's important to stay in the spirit, walk in the spirit, read the Bible, study the law, statutes, and commandments so that we can see the sins that we are in and then remove those things from our life that encourage that. All right, from there, Romans chapter 6, and we're going to read verse 12. All right, and 13. It says, let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body, that ye should obey it in the lust thereof. All right. When it says don't let sin reign, reign means to rule. All right. So don't let sin rule in your mortal body. If you let sin rule in you, that means sin has complete control over what you do and don't do with your body. All right. It's like me when I used to smoke weed. I used to wake up. Soon as the first thing I did when I woke up, if I didn't already have one roll, I rolled one up. All right. And I smoked all day. I couldn't go nowhere unless I had my weed. All right. I didn't, if I went out of town, the first thing I did, I had to get my weed. All right. That was me letting sin. We kind of, the weed heads kind of look down on people who do hard drugs like cocaine or heroin. Are you a junkie? But just the same thing when you on weed, you just as much of a junkie. I know I was a weed head, you know. So in the world, when I went out of town, the first thing I had to do was get my weed. I couldn't have sex if I didn't have no weed, couldn't eat if I didn't have no weed, you know, couldn't go to work if I didn't have my weed. That was me letting sin reign in my mortal body. All right, that you should obey it in the lust thereof. Drive two hours out of town to get some weed. You know what I'm saying? That's you letting sin reign in your mortal body. Verse 13, he say, neither yield ye your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin. So your members are your body parts, whether that's your lungs, your genitalia, whatever it is. You don't need to use your body for unrighteousness, to sin. All right. It says, but yield yourselves unto God. You got to let the Most High reign in you. Either sin's gonna reign in you, or the Most High and his laws is going to reign in you as those that are alive from the dead. Because when you come from out of the world, you've literally been brought from the dead. You've been resurrected, spiritually speaking. All right. It says, and your members as instruments of righteousness unto God. All right. Use your body to glorify the Most High, not to do sin. All right. Let's keep going. Let's go back to Galatians. So you don't want sin to reign in your body. Galatians chapter 5 and verse 19. What's going to happen if you let sin reign in your body? Right here. It says, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery. Adultery is the first one he named. Then fornication, 2 sexual sins. All right. Uncleanness. Okay. Lasciviousness, which is inappropriate sexual thoughts. Strong lust. All right. Uncleanness can be sexual as well, depending on what it is that you're doing, So the first ones he named, the works of the flesh, are dealing with sex, you could argue. Those are the works of the flesh. All right. Idolatry, which is you doing what you want to do rather than what the Most High tells you to do. Witchcraft, which is being stubborn and not doing what the Most High tells you to do. Let's prove it. Witchcraft. I want to show you what he means when he say witchcraft. 1 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 23. We'll come back to Galatians. All right. It says, for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. So when you rebel against the Most High God, that's witchcraft. That's an evil thing going on in your spirit. And stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry, because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord. You rejected the spirit of the Lord. He has also rejected thee from being king. So that's the only reason, brothers, why we not kings right now. Instead, we pay tribute to a nation that has enslaved our ancestors. Our sisters, some of them got to work 40, 60 hours instead of being carried on the ground, and their feet not touching the ground. All right. The sin is what keeps us from our natural state. All right, so let's go back. So now you understand what he means when he says idolatry and witchcraft are works of the flesh. Hatred, variance, emulations. That's you comparing yourself to somebody else. All right, you may be comparing yourself, what your camp is doing, to another camp. You don't want to get into that, seeing how many views they got versus your views. You want to be careful. You don't worry about that. Just do your job. Just work. All right. You could lust for a big congregation. You could have a lust to have a lot of likes and views, whatever it is. All right. That could be your lust: wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murder, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. That's a big deal. So if you're doing those things, you shall not inherit the kingdom. You're not going to get the kingdom. So if you don't get the kingdom, what you getting? The lake. You either get the kingdom or the lake. It's up to you, man. It's up to all of us. All right. So the works of the flesh, you want to stay away from those. Let's go to Proverbs. All right. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse number 24. All right. It says, to keep from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. All right. So this is a prayer for brothers. Sisters can pray this prayer too, to keep them from the evil man. All right. Because this is the thing that gets you. The flattery. Flattery. Let's look that word up real quick. Flattery. All right. Excessive and insincere praise, given especially to further one's own interest. All right. So a sister might come up to you, I like your shoes, I like your fringes. What those mean? Really, she got another agenda, or a brother might work with you on your job, sis. Well, why you wear them dresses all the time? Yeah, I like it though. It look good. I like how you look different. You look different than everybody. He got an agenda. He want, and don't no man just, every man wants something from a woman. Understand that, sisters. If you know, if you not have been, you might have not have been raised with a father. You didn't have no brothers growing up. Listen to me. Every man wants something from you. No man is just doing anything just to be doing it. All right, especially a worldly man, a brother in the truth. That's as close to sincere as you gonna get. But even that brother, you gotta watch him. Even him, he probably wants something from you. All right, I don't go out of my way to do things for women, for other women. I'm married. I got a rib, so there's no point in that. All right, so you want to be careful when it comes to flattery. All right, of the tongue of a strange woman. Now he's going into a heathen woman, but a strange woman is also a woman that's not keeping the commandments. All right, so be careful with that thing. Flattery, those are all tricks and devices that the devil uses. Let's go to Ephesians. All right, let's go to Ephesians chapter 5, verse 1. All right, it says, be ye therefore followers of Yahweh as dear children. All right, a child does what their parents tell them to do. They don't buck up against their parents, not a righteous child. All right, and walk in love. What's love? Let's get that. What does he mean, walk in love? Like I said, it's your first time watching the channel. When you see certain words in the Bible, it's got to ring off certain definitions for you, because the Bible tells you what words mean. We define the Bible with the Bible, precept upon precept. All right. So it said, let's go back. It says, and walk in love. That means just walk around just ready to give out hugs and cookies. No, that ain't what that means. All right. It says, this is love, for this is the love of God. This is when it said walk in love, it's talking about this. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous, right? So that's the definition of love. That's what God's definition of love is. So when it says, and walk in love, it's talking about walking the commandments, as Yahweh Shai Hamashiach also have loved us. All right. He walked in the commandments and dealt with us according to the commandments. All right. It says, and have given himself for us as an offering and a sacrifice to Yahweh for a sweet smelling savor. You got to sacrifice this, you got to sacrifice this flesh. All right. Spiritually speaking. All right. You got to be willing to sacrifice fulfilling the lust of the flesh to please the Most High. All right. It says, but fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becoming saints. Because when you come into the truth, when you start back, when you realize who you are and that these laws was given to you for a heritage, you get your place back. You on your way to getting your spot back in the eyes of the Most High. You a saint now. All right. It says don't let these things be named among you. You don't want to be a brother that's teaching on the street, but they thinking that you got a girlfriend. You got a girlfriend living at home with you. All right. You don't want to be a sister that's known for wearing head wraps and long dresses, but she at the store buying Swissels when they get dog. Asking what do we, you don't want to be that. You don't want to bring reproach on the Most High. All right. Neither filthiness nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. For ye know that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man who is an idolater have any inheritance in the kingdom of Hamashiach and of Yahweh. He's saying it again. If a whoremonger, some brothers think that a whoremonger is just a man who sleeps with prostitutes. A whore in the Bible, or a harlot in the Bible, is a woman that sells her body, or a woman that has lustful sex. She's doing it for free. So if you just having sex with people, you're a whoremonger. All right. You don't want to be that, because that will make you not get your inheritance according to the Bible. All right, so let's look at an example. Let's go to the book of Susanna. All right, somebody who was dealing with lust. Susanna wasn't dealing with it, but let's look at an example of that in the Bible. All right, so Susanna was an attractive woman. Let's start from verse 1. It says, there dwelt a man in Babylon named Joachim. All right, and he took a wife whose name was Susanna, the daughter of the Chelseas. I might be saying that wrong. A very fair woman and one that feared the Lord. So Susanna was a beautiful woman. All right, she was married to Joachim. All right, Joachim. All right, and she feared the Lord, meaning she hated evil. She hated sin. She was a righteous woman. It says her parents also were righteous. They raised her up the way that they were supposed to and taught their daughter according to the law of Moses. And Joachim was a great rich man and had a fair garden joining unto his house, and to him resorted the Jews because he was more honorable than all others. So Joachim was doing good. He was well off. And it says to him resorted the Jews, meaning the brothers always wanted to be around his brother and was at his home often, all right, because he was more honorable than all others. He was a brother known for being righteous and keeping the commandments, all right. It says the same year were appointed two of the ancients of the people to be judges, all right, and such as the Lord spake of, that wickedness came from Babylon from ancient judges who seemed to govern the people. So that same year, you had two wicked brothers that were appointed to be priests. All right, it says these kept much at Joachim's house, and all that had any suits in law came. Any that had any suits in law came unto them. So these two priests were at Joachim's house often. All right. And if anybody had any dealings or mishaps, somebody might have fell into some sins, they would come to the priest. They needed some counseling. They would come to the priest, these two brothers. All right. It says, now when the people departed away at noon, Susanna went into her husband's garden to walk. And the two elders saw her going in every day and walking, so that their lust was inflamed toward her. So these brothers was watching this man's wife every day until it said what? Until the point it says, so that their lust was inflamed toward her. So the eye looking at something will get you in a whole lot of trouble. It starts with the eye. All right. Once you look, it's a difference between you see something and you turn your head real quick so that you don't stare at it. All right. You don't want the eyes is where all of it starts. It starts with that, what you see. So you want to be careful what you look at. If you out in the world, of course, you're going to see women that's dressed immodestly. As men, I mean, you can't, until you get to where you hate sin, that's going to be attractive to you. All right. Until you get to where you hate that sin, that's going to be attractive to you. I'm just keeping it a buck. So the goal is to get to where you hate sin so that it's no longer attractive, so that it's easy to turn your head away. All right. But until you get there, don't stare. If you read this whole history, these brothers ended up dying behind their very lust, man. So you want to be careful with that thing, man. Can't be a whoremonger. Let's go to Sirach while we in the Apocrypha. All right, Sirach, chapter 23. You don't want to just look at anything. Don't be staring at women, especially another brother's wife. That'll get you killed. Sirach chapter 23 and verse 17 says, all bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not leave off till he die. And that's a true thing, man. Once you feed into your lust, the appetite grows. All right. You might start out liking only a certain type of person. I only like little slims, whatever the case. Next thing you know, man, you hitting anything. Big girls, ugly girls with 12 toes. It don't matter to you now, So you want to, it says all bread is sweet to a whoremonger. All right. That's what happens, man. All right. It's sweet. You end up doing anything, hitting anything. All right. So let's get some wisdom. Staying in Sirach. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger, man. Sirach chapter 9. Like I was saying about the brothers in Susanna, the two elders. All right. It says, verse 5, it says, gaze not on a maid. A maid is a young girl, that thou fall not by those things that are precious in her. The things that are precious in her are her breasts, her thighs, her butt, you know, her body parts. All right. It says, give not thy soul unto harlots, women that just are willing to just sleep around, that thou lose not thine inheritance. All right. Talking about if you literally sleeping with prostitutes, you're gonna blow a lot of money. Men go to strip clubs, you know what I'm saying? They spend all kind of obscene money in there, you know. But spiritually speaking, you lose out on the kingdom, your spiritual inheritance, which is you're gonna be filthy rich in the kingdom, but you're gonna blow it if you fall into the lust of the flesh. All right, verse 7 says, look not round about thee in the streets of the city. This works, brothers. I'm telling you this from experience. This one works, man. All of this works. But you know, when you in the car, you kind of have a tendency to, you know, just be looking around. But the women in the world don't have any modesty. You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking to the brothers mainly because I'm a man, but you know, same thing apply to my sisters. You know, women in the world, they don't have any modesty, man. They, especially in the summertime, they wearing barely anything. So if you just looking around while you driving, you might catch something and not even be looking for it. All right. Neither wander thou in the solitary places thereof. Stop trying to get off by yourself if you know you're dealing with lust. Keep some brothers around you. You know what I mean? Keep you some brothers or some righteous sisters around that's going to, you know, correct you if you're going off. Verse 8, it says, turn thy eye from a beautiful woman. Man, that's literal, bro. That's literal. When you, like, sometimes you just got to keep your head in the ground. They're like, what's wrong with that brother? Hey, man, whatever it takes, man. Sisters too. If you a single sister and you know you burning up in lust, you going around, you go into a crowded area, whether it's a grocery store, keep your eyes on them groceries. Don't be looking around and just, you know, turn thy eye from a beautiful woman and look not upon another's beauty. Especially you don't look at another brother's wife or another sister's husband. For many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman. For herewith love is kindled as a fire. Same way with them brothers in Susanna. You would think you in love because you done stared at this person for so long. And you like their eyelashes, or you like their lips, or whatever, her feet, whatever it is that you think you in love, man. This sister, she ain't in the truth, but you know, you just never know. He might change. He say he be watching videos. People will say anything to get what they want. All right, so you gotta do these things, and it's gonna help you to battle against lust. All right, verse 9: sit not at all with another man's wife, nor sit down with her in thy arm. Don't be, even if she ain't married, don't be getting off to you and just her and y'all sitting down and just talk. Bro, keep it moving. Sis, keep it moving. If he interested in you and he say he learning the Bible, and y'all, he said, I want to study. Can we get together and kind of, you know, study over the phone, get on Zoom, FaceTime, y'all, you know, preferably just the phone. You don't need to be just that, but staring, especially staring in the eyes, man. Them eyes, you go to staring and looking each other in the eyes, man. That's a whole mess. It's something about them eyes, man, that just, it takes it to another level. So don't sit with another man's wife, nor sit down with her in thy arms, and spend not thy money with her at the wine. Don't be just offering to buy nobody lunch like that. Lest thine heart incline unto her, and so through thy desire thy fall into destruction. Because you might start out thinking, it ain't no big deal. I'm just gonna get her something real quick since I'm going anyway. Next thing you know, you get to talking and you notice something that you like about this person. It said many have fallen into destruction like that. All right. Let's go to let's stay in Sirach. Let's go to Sirach 7. All right, verse 2. It says, verse 1, do no evil, so shall no harm come unto thee. All right, so if you don't do evil, harm won't come unto you. You won't catch that STD. All right, you won't get that baby that you didn't want to have with that person. All right, you won't lose, no evil will come. That's plain. Depart from the unjust, and iniquity shall turn away from thee. So get from around those people that want to give into their lust. All right. Excuse me, Salaki. Get from around those people. Don't have any dealings with them. All right. From there, let's go to Matthew. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5, and we're gonna read verse 28. I'm gonna read verse 27. All right, he said, ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. So when the law, it tells you you can't commit adultery, you can't break the laws of marriage. All right. But I say unto you, this is Yahweh Shah speaking, but I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath already committed adultery with her, have committed adultery with her already in his heart or his mind. So you can't, that's why we read in Sirach, don't stare at these women, man. Don't stare at these brothers. All right, you can't be lusting after people. You already done committed adultery. You've already broken the laws of marriage at that point. That's what he's selling you. So he tightened the restriction. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out. What that mean? That mean take your eye and throw it over there? No. That means whatever the thing is that's causing you to sin, whatever that's causing you to go and give into your lust, get rid of it. If it's if you addicted to porn, and get a flip phone, get you a flip phone. If it's cut the cable off, if it's stop going, hanging out at late, whatever, get a new job, whatever it is, you gotta do it. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee, for it is profitable. it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that the whole body should be cast into hell. So you got to do what you got to do in this thing, in this fight, because it's literally a fight at all times. As you grow and you mature in this truth and your relationship with the Most High, you understand that everything is spiritual. When you go somewhere, you start thinking, what's the spiritual significance of this? Why did I get this job? Okay, what the devil gonna do in this situation to try to make me go off? That's the devil's job, is to get you to go off and sin. That's what he was created for, to get you to go off. So you got to do whatever it is, whatever it takes in a fight. You pick up sand and throw it in the eye, you scratching, you kicking folks in the whatever. You doing, ain't no rules in a fight. You just fighting to win. That's the way it is in this fight. You literally are fighting for your salvation when it comes to you battling this lust. So you got to do and take whatever steps are necessary for you to win. All right. You can't lose, because the devil playing for keeps. Satan playing for keeps. And like we talked about, sometimes you might be the devil. You got to check your spirit. Let's go to Sirach. Sometimes you might be the devil. Somebody told me that one time. You the devil. They didn't even remember saying it. And I was just like, when they said that, I was just like, I gotta get it together. Sometimes it's us who the devil. You give into that lust and you just doing anything out here, you the devil. You are adverse to the Most High. All right. Verse 13. It says, remember that a wicked eye is an evil thing, and what is created more wicked than an eye. Therefore, it weepeth upon every occasion. You gotta understand, water, tears come out your eye. That's crazy in itself. That your body do that. With that body part. The eye is wicked, man. The eye is wicked. And it feeds your mind. So you gotta be careful what you watch. If you dealing with lust, don't watch these little whatever shows, and they just all committing fornication on there, committing adultery, whatever it is, or whatever. Don't just watch anything. You can't just watch anything. I don't watch TV like that. You know, I'm straight on that because I know me. I'm honest with myself, and you got to be the same way. So pluck out that eye, remove whatever it is in your life that's trying to get you to sin against God. All right. From there, let's go to James. Let's go to James chapter 1 and verse 12. All right. It says, blessed is the man that endured temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life. Because you going through that fire. You letting the Most High prove you. And when you ask the Most High to give you wisdom, we'll do it. That's a whole nother lesson. I don't want this to be a long class. But you got to know what you asking for. When you ask the Most High to give you self-control, how he going to give you self-control? By putting you in situations where you have to exercise self-control. You got to know what you asking for, right? Blessed is the man that endured temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him, to them that keep his commandments. All right. Let no man say, or a woman, the Bible's written in masculine tone, let no woman, no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempted he any man. So it's you who is the problem. All right, it's gonna tell you. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. That lust is in you. You gotta hate the sin so that it ain't a lust no more. You gotta hate when it's a sin for women to wear pants. Women's supposed to be modest and modest apparel, meaning a dress that's not tight fitting. You know, that's if you don't do that. If a woman wears what pertains to a man, that's a sin. Pants belong to a man. So when you see a woman with pants on, you gotta hate that sin, and it won't be attractive to you no more. All right. It say every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when the lust hath conceived, once that lust get right, once you want it so bad, it bring forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bring forth death. Lust plus sin equals death. That's the equation for death. You don't want to do that thing, man. Do not err, my beloved brethren. All right, let's keep going. 1 Thessalonians. We almost done. I said I ain't want to make it too long. We almost done. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 4. All right, it says that every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor. What that mean? That mean you should know how to control yourself. All right, even if you know you have you deal with certain issues, certain lusts, you should know how to put yourself in position to succeed. All right, not in the lust of concupiscence, strong lust. That's what concupiscence is. Even as the Gentiles which know not God, that no man go beyond and defraud his brother in any matter, because that the Lord is the avenger of all such, as we also have forewarned you and testify. All right, so people in the world do with whatever they want to do with their bodies. They yield their bodies to unrighteousness. All right, to do sin. We can't be like that in this truth. People supposed to look at us and say it's something different about them. That brother, he ain't just talking to all the women on the job. Every time one women come up to him and say something to him, yeah, like he don't even look at her. Or that sister she don't talk to nobody. She don't even look at her. She won't even make eye contact with you, bro. They supposed to look at us and say something different, you friendly with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Stop thinking that you got to be friends with everybody. This is about your salvation. You might have to look mean and mad to keep people from bothering you. You know, whatever you got to do. Not saying be rude, but hey, it's your soul. Let's go to Sirach. It's your soul, man. You got to do whatever you got to do in this fight, man, within the laws of the Most High to put yourself in a position to succeed. Sirach chapter 23 and verse 5. All right, it says, turn away from me vain hopes and concupiscences, and thou shalt hold him up that is desirous always to serve thee. All right, so we got to change our desires. All right, we got to change our desires from wanting to do sin to wanting to do the Most High's will, which is keep the commandments. All right, verse 6, let not the greediness of the belly nor lust of the flesh take hold of me. This is Sirach, like praying. Listen to what he say, nor the lust of the flesh take hold of me, and give not over me thy servant into an impudent mind. What does impudent mean? All right. Let's look this word up. Impudent. He said, don't give me over to that, an impudent mind. What that mean? All right. Impudent. Not showing due respect for another person. Impertinent. All right. Insolent, cheeky, audacious, brazen, shameless. All right. Immodest, presumptuous, forward, disrespectful, bold. All right. Saucy, cocky. That's another word for impudent, cocky. You don't want to, and basically that's pride. Don't give me over to a prideful mind. I don't want to go to, please don't let me start feeling myself, because the moment you do, that's why you got to be careful what you watch, what you listen to. Certain music put you in the spirit to where you like, yeah, I'm feeling, you go to licking your lips. You know what I'm saying? You go to looking in the mirror a little longer. You don't want to, I'm telling you, man, get it out your playlist. You got to be careful with that, man. So that's a one way, you know, those are some of the ways to battle lust, man, to conquer lust on a daily basis. All right. Watch the people, first walk in the spirit. All right. Watch the people, the company that you keeping, you know, watch what you looking at. Don't put yourself in situations where you're gonna sin, and do whatever you gotta do to put yourself in a position to succeed. All right. Don't be prideful. Don't be cocky. You know, those are the things that'll make you give in to lust if you do those things. All right. So Most High willing, this was edifying, you know, something quick I wanted to do just to get some brothers and sisters something to chew on, you know, to get you through your day, get you through your lunch break, whatever the case. You know, if you got any questions or anybody has a special request for a topic that they want to learn about, you can send an email to New Wine Congregation of Israel at gmail.com. New Wine Congregation of Israel at gmail.com. That's why I'll take any special requests or topics that you're just interested in, then we'll do a class about that. All right. If you're interested in joining the Bible studies, you can send an email to that email address as well. All right. And we'll get you on some of the live Bible studies, and, you know, also try to link you up with some brothers and sisters that's also in the truth. All right. So with that, I'm going to say Shalom.